Hello, and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin as we are heading into the weekend. I don't think there is generally, when we talk about the microstructure, much to add to my last video, but in this video I want to talk about total market cap as well and want to review Bitcoin dominance, just something that we sometimes do on a Saturday. Before we do that, feel free to check out our Twitter and Instagram channels as well. You can find the links in the video description. I have to thank everybody who's been following us, especially on Twitter or X, because we've now reached 10,000 followers there. So, you know, if you want to join the crew, feel free to check it out. We share some additional insights on X or Twitter. Well, X really sounds weird still. Some additional updates, signals, not as many as we share in the membership, of course, but there are some updates, you know, stuff about mindset trading. So if you have an X account, feel free to check it out, but just make sure you follow the correct channel and you do not follow one of these impersonator accounts, which, however, get removed quite quickly by the X team, which is fantastic. Yeah, so let's take a look at Bitcoin daily chart. Yeah, especially for anybody who's new on this channel. We are tracking here still this 1-2 potential 1-2 setup, which is quite a bullish setup for a bull run. We cannot really very clearly determine a target for this third wave here until we have waves 1 and 2 complete. There are other ways of counting this. We could also count this as a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, but better to keep expectations realistic because that would be even more bullish. Don't like the idea. Also, it fits better looking at the proportions here, absolutely. One main reason why we're counting this as a larger one, this as the larger two, is because of the Fibonacci extensions of the movement now. If I had two smaller ones, then this would be too long. So we have one large one too, so it helps us to, again, Fibonacci guides us here. Fibonacci basically tells us what is the most probable count. We know that in a wave 1, this one here, of a larger degree third wave, which would be up there, ideally the price does not exceed the 78.6 extension. Yeah? So if I had another 1-2 and another 1-2, then it would have exceeded that. So that makes sense. It's sort of an old rule. I don't think actually it's a written down rule. It's more like something that is well known in Elliott Wave circles, you could say. Above that level, though, we have to consider other options, maybe even something more bearish. Yeah, that sounds strange, I know. But when something goes up too fast, too far, the market can get overheated quickly. So that's something we consider. Anyway, bullish at the moment. Yeah. Even if we get a deep pullback, which is expected at some point now, which would be this wave 2, we might get another extension higher into the white box here before we do that. In the wave 2, we have a deep pullback here, but it would still be part of a bull run as long as we're holding 27,290, okay? So I always show the daily chart to get an idea of the bigger picture because sometimes people get upset about short-term volatility, but sometimes you get so much short-term volatility and it doesn't even affect at all here the bigger picture, okay? So if you are trading these time frames, and we had some really good entries in 2023 and 2022, also in our community, we had a support area down here, we had one here, we had one here, and we had a few, I think, here somewhere. So really some really good swings, you know, and also I think it was Bitcoin or Ether who reached it here as well. So I mean, you cannot expect any more from a TA. I think it really did everything what it needed to do. All the support areas were triggered. Okay, maybe a couple missed because Bitcoin made shallow retracements. I took the ones that were triggered anyway off the chart to make it cleaner. But anybody who's been following us knows that. And it's just, you know, Elliott Wave is so valuable. So maybe we can get this one as well, okay? Maybe we can get this one as well. I mean, these are the relevant ones, right? I mean, the stuff on the shorter time frames, yeah, many people don't even bother about them because they're really just very, very short-term stuff. But you want to be involved in those third wave rallies, yeah? And the problem is, if you try to trade every single wave, you might get chopped up. I've been saying it constantly that it is worth having a core position just adding when we reach those larger swing support areas, yeah. And you need to remember, if you try to trade every single wave, you need to make as much money to pay for your own time. If you just do the relaxed approach, which I like to take, yeah, just gradual buying when it dips, gradual selling when it moves up into resistance, you don't need to spend that much time on it. And you could have just taken all these opportunities here. I mean, I still hold positions from here, yeah. And that's just part of the plan. It's a more relaxed way of trading. I can just recommend that to most people, because everything else chops you up really, unless you know what you're doing. And even if you know what you're doing, it just takes a lot of time to trade every single wave here. Yeah, it's just highlighting what is best for most people. Not saying it's best for you, but for most people in general. Okay, so most people who try to, there are really people who have come into the market in the bear market and who are now at a loss, yeah, which shouldn't be the case. Okay, so, and you can't be, if you followed this analysis, you can't be at a loss, really, because Elliott Wave always tells you when to stop out. Now, the only reason why you might be at a loss is if you didn't get your position management right, you didn't get your risk management right, and then you just didn't follow the analysis. Because even if you took a wrong trade, or even if you took the right trade, but the market just did the opposite, if you had your risk management and stop losses set as it would be defined by Elliott Wave, because we always share invalidation points, then there's just no way you lose a lot with Elliott Wave. There's just no way, okay? Because Elliott Wave tells you when to stop out, okay? And if you then measure your risk management properly, just basic math, that there's just no way you could be. I just want to share that again. Those good old core positions are so valuable. Okay, let's take a look at shorter time frame. Really nothing to add to previous updates. I mean, there's not more wisdom we can get out of this chart. I think we've squeezed every little bit of clarity we can get out of this chart. There's nothing else. The only thing is this doesn't really look convincing what happened from down here. Yeah, so it looks a bit like an ascending wedge pattern. So I would not be surprised if this yellow box basically if the price breaks below it. But we'll see. Support is holding for now. If we break below micro support in this potential 1-2 setup, then it might just reset wave 4 a little lower. Now again, going back to the daily time frame, would that change anything? No, not really. I mean, if we assume, okay, this wave 4, maybe it finished. Okay, maybe we're already pushing higher in wave 5 of 1. If it breaks micro support, it might just reset wave 4 because it never finished. So that doesn't, however, affect anything here. So that means basically that this wave 4 just sits over here a little bit. Yeah, we get that one more extension higher potentially that we talked about. And for the daily time frame, it doesn't matter at all if it already finished or not. So know your time frame, very important. Know your time frame before you do anything. Know your time frame. And yeah, really, it's all about 25,450. We have just a little bit too much overlapping price action here. I'd like it to start to move, but maybe we're not going to see much today. I mean, it's Saturday. Saturday is rather quiet. Let's see. Market not very convinced today. So let's take a look at total market cap, which seems to be in a similar pattern as Bitcoin, a 1-2 setup. Here, this wave 1 seems to need another 4-5 section as well as Bitcoin. So it might need another 4, which it might be working on right now, and then a wave 5. And then we get a deeper pullback like on the Bitcoin chart. But it's trying to break above that resistance here. Then we've got Bitcoin dominance, which started to rise again in the last couple of days. So what my view is yes, we've reached our resistance target area that we talked about many weeks ago. I think months ago we talked about that. And that's good to see. And it's a pretty full pattern to the upside. So we call that a flat structure. A, B, C in a wave 2, which should eventually break down, which would be an alt season. But there is still plenty of space. And the pattern to the upside on the micro level here looks a bit unfinished. So it could get another squiggle to the upside there. And we did say we focus on higher still, as long as this trend line is holding. So we might see it rise. But when that trend line breaks, and that's been with us since November last year, that is an indication something's changing in the market. Okay, that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Yeah, also make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. As I said, and if you're interested in the membership, tomorrow we've got our next member live stream. Also, you get access to Discord and Telegram, the chat rooms. There's additional content, educational content, great community. And as a gold member, you get access to additional short-term market updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.